It was February 25, 1957, a bitter, gray morning in Fox Chase, a quiet neighborhood on the outskirts of Philadelphia. A young man, out checking animal traps in the woods, spotted a large cardboard box in the underbrush near Susquehanna Road. Inside, wrapped in a plaid blanket, was the small, naked body of a boy, no older than 4 or 5. His hair had been recently chopped, unevenly and hastily, like someone trying to disguise him. His tiny body was bruised, his arms and legs covered in scars, old ones and fresh ones. His ribs showed through his skin, and his face was peaceful in a way that made it harder to look away. The box had once contained a bassinet sold by J.C. Penney. Now it held the nameless. The police were called, but they had no idea that this boy, beaten, starved, and left like trash, would go on to become one of America's most famous John Does. He wasn't just a mystery. He was a ghost in broad daylight. The police were relentless. They took fingerprints. They photographed the boy's face, cleaned and brushed, and distributed it across newspapers, post offices, and gas stations from coast to coast. 400,000 flyers were sent in mail with electric bills. His face aired on television. His story was read on the radio. And yet, no one came forward. Hospitals, orphanages, and foster systems were scoured. Nothing matched. Every lead ended in silence. People thought they recognized him. A missing child from New Jersey. A runaway from Ohio. A boy whose parents were circus performers. None of it fit. He became known only by a nickname, America's Unknown Child. The medical examiner couldn't sleep for weeks. "I've handled thousands of bodies," he said. "But never one that haunted me like this." The city buried the boy in a pauper's grave with a headstone that read, simply, "Heavenly Father, bless this unknown boy." Visitors left stuffed animals. A detective retired early and spent decades tending the grave with his own hands. And yet, for 60 years, no one ever said his name. Over the decades, theories grew like weeds in a forgotten garden. One woman swore he had been her sister's child, sold, beaten, and disposed of when he wouldn't stop crying. Another claimed he had been kidnapped by a traveling carnival and then killed by mistake. There were whispers of a foster home run like a prison. Rumors of a reclusive family that moved in the dead of night. Even a priest said he saw the boy in a vision, standing beside a woman who cried but didn't speak. Psychics offered no answers. DNA testing in the 1990s revealed nothing conclusive. The cardboard box, the blanket, the scars, all clues that led nowhere. The city changed. The woods near Susquehanna Road were paved over. People forgot. New generations were born, and the story of the boy in the box became just another cold case whispered about by true crime fans and haunted police officers. But some never gave up. One woman, a local professor, created an entire website dedicated to solving the mystery. A retired detective kept the boy's photo in his wallet for over 30 years. Volunteers raised money for a proper headstone and held vigils each February. They didn't know his name. But they called him family. In 2022, 65 years after the boy was found, something miraculous happened. Advances in forensic genealogy allowed investigators to extract a usable DNA sample from the boy's remains. It was sent through databases, checked against family trees, and slowly, piece by piece, a picture emerged. The boy was identified as Joseph Augustus Zarelli. He was born in January 1953. He had siblings. He came from a well-known family in West Philadelphia. And yet, the pain of the revelation was just beginning. No one had ever reported Joseph missing. No public records showed who had custody of him at the time of his death. His parents had passed away. Their names were withheld, out of respect for surviving relatives. It was a victory cloaked in sorrow. The grave was updated. Joseph Augustus Zarelli, the new marker reads, "America's Unknown Child. Finally home." But the question remains, who killed him? The answer has still not come. And maybe it never will. But at long last, the boy in the box has a name. A name that now echoes in the minds of all who hear it. A name that was stolen from the world for 6 long decades. A name returned only by love, persistence, and the refusal to forget. Joseph Augustus Zarelli.